Okay, guys, we are just about ready to get started in this self-paced learning. So the last thing that we need to do before we really dive into web design next week is really learn how to use these instructional videos, understand what mastery means, and what you should do to get help if you get stuck. So lesson 1 of week 0 was just about accessing JuiceMind and kind of familiarizing yourself with the platform. So today we're going to be looking at the video, and you're going to have some questions to answer, and this will be more like how all of your lessons will be set up. So to start with, you'll have your starter code. We talked about this in lesson 1. So today what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're in an actual lesson just so we can get through where you might need to pause the video to answer a question or to work on your code. So the first thing that we're going to do is work in the code space. So your job when you're watching the instructional videos is to watch the video, pause and try the code, pause the video and try the code, edit the starter code to meet the goal. So I'm going to show you right now how I want you to do that. So right now we have a page title and we have Hello World. If we run that code, we just see Hello World pops up in the preview. Okay. What I want you to do is watch me do this, and then I want you to pause this video and go do it on your template. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this page title to Exploring Computer Science. All right. That doesn't change anything on your preview. It just changes the page title, which is the tab at the top. When you look at the tab on your computer, you'll see it says like first period ECS JuiceMind. That is the page title for the page that I'm on right now. Hello World is a header in that page. Now I want you to change Hello World to Mrs. Faber is the best. Now you have to change it to exactly what I tell you to, or you're not going to get credit. So, and then I want you to run that and make sure that it now shows up the way that you think it should. Okay. So here is where you would pause the video and go to your code and fix it to where it looks like mine. Okay. Once you've done that and you have Mrs. Baber is the best showing up on your code, you can continue watching the rest of your video. Now, again, your job is to watch the video, pause it and try the code, and then edit it out to make it look like it's supposed to look in the lesson. So you can then go answer what is one of your jobs when watching an instructional video. That's a fill in the blank question. So if you need to right now, go ahead and pause the video and fill in the blank on that question. All right. Now yours doesn't look exactly the same as mine. Okay. So I'm going to pop into a student view right here. So you can kind of see how that might look from your view. And there's no video there yet because I'm currently recording the video. So when you watch this, it'll show up right here. All right. The next thing that we need to talk about today is what does it mean that you have mastered the standards for the lesson and you can now move on to the next lesson. So what that looks like is for each lesson, you correctly update the starter code. The website behaves or looks the way the lesson describes. And you can explain what you changed to make that happen. You can revise your code as many times as you need, as long as you don't go down here and click submit answer, because sometimes you won't be able to change it after you submit. But mastery is correctly updating the starter code, making the website behave or look the way that I'm describing in the video or in the lesson, and being able to explain exactly what you changed. So now you have a multiple choice question right here that you need to answer. Which one of the following does not count as mastery? We're moving on to the next lesson. So if you need to, pause the video right here and answer that question. All right. And then the last thing is what should you do? Well, hang on. I'm sorry, not last thing yet. You have to have a sign off from me that you have actually completed lesson 1 before you can move on to lesson 2, and lesson 2 before you can move on to lesson 3, and so on and so forth. I am still working on that system, but I will get it to y'all by Monday when we start the actual programming part of this unit, and what that's going to look like. So just know that you cannot move on to lesson 2 until you have me sign off that you've mastered the standards for lesson 1. All right, now the last thing is, what are you supposed to do when you are stuck and you need help? Well, the first thing is rewatch the video. Rewatch the video and see if you can pick up where you went wrong. Okay? And then if you can't from the video, go back and check the notes. Check the questions that you answered from the video. If that still doesn't help you, then you can look at your code compared to the example that I have given you in the video. Make sure you're looking for misspelled words, typos, missing symbols. We're going to get into all of that at some point during all of this. All of these things are called tags. If you open a tag, you have to also close a tag. I'm going to get into all of that when we get into the content of the unit. And then the last thing that you can do is we'll have some kind of a chart or a way for y'all to know who's on what lesson, so that if you get stuck, you can ask a classmate who's either on the same lesson as you are or maybe a lesson or two ahead of you to help you fix your code. If none of that works, then of course I'm here to help you. I just want you guys to try to figure out what you're doing first before you just run to me to help you fix it. So now would be the time when you pause the video and you're going to type your short answer here. What are 2 things you should try before you ask me for help? Okay. So now I'm going to hand you in class, you'll get a check off that says, I am ready to begin the web design week 1 when I can do the following. And there'll be a whole bunch of check off there for you. And once you do that, then you'll be able to start lesson 1 on Monday.